Hi, this is Carrie.
This is Chemda. We're Gilmore Friends.
We're Gilmore Friends at GilmoreFriends.com.
And today we just saw season 1, episode 13. It is called Concert Interruptus.
Oh.
So Carrie just gets to know this information now. She watched it, but she doesn't get to know the name. What do you think of the name so far?
Stupid name.
Oh, okay.
Interruptus is like coitus interruptus, like when you pull out during. See, like we started off this episode, but the term interruptus I think of as coitus interruptus. That's how I know that word.
I guess. I think they're being cute, but
they're being cute. They're using Latin. Why are they using Latin? All right.
I mean, they use Shakespeare. They use Latin. It's not really that far off.
Since I don't know the name of the episode before we watch it, because sometimes the names have spoilers. The spoiler in this episode was during the opening credits. It said special guest stars, the Bangles. And I was like, the Bangles are in this episode. And you were like, what?
Did you like that?
Yeah.
I actually said, where did you see the Bangles? Because I thought maybe she was wearing a t-shirt or something, because this isn't the first time on Gilmore Girls that the Bangles were brought up. So I was like, oh, was there another hint that I didn't know in this episode before they actually brought up the Bangles?
Opening credits.
So opening credits.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I knew that they were coming in. And like, I figured if they put the name of the band, like they're going to play, like rather than one of them.
I didn't know they would play so much though.
Yeah. It was like they ran out of content,
Which they didn't. They still have to memorize so many lines. So.
I know, but the band did play for like an extra long time.
Yeah.
Like time-wise.
I appreciate that as a fan of the Bangles. But it's a dialogue episode.
Slowed the plot down for a minute. Anyway, let's start at the beginning.
Yes.
We open upon Lorelai at her closet saying there's nothing. At first, I thought, is she saying there's nothing to wear? Because remember the episode, was it episode 2 or 3, where her entire wardrobe is at the dry cleaners?
Right. When she woke up late to take Rory to her first day at Chilton.
Right.
She said everything was in the dry cleaner, not regular, dry cleaner.
Yep. Not laundry, dry cleaner. Everything.
And she only had one outfit to wear, which was a pole dancing cowgirl of some sort.
Yes.
So
a cowgirl of the night.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to see Lorelai's closet completely full and her standing in front of there. We find out that they're looking for stuff to get rid of for the town rummage sale, which I love. I love all the quaint town rummagey Gilmore Girl.
Have you ever been to a rummage sale?
No, these kinds of things overwhelm me. I tend to think I want to go, and then I go and I'm like, please get me out of here at the first sight. But in my mind, it's so quaint, it's so nice, it's so fun. But looking across at that many items at anything, I get overwhelmed at like things like Walmart and giant grocery stores. I'm just like, do we need me to walk through all of this? So I assume it looks like your face says you like rummage sales.
I don't really like rummage sales, but I've been to a few. When growing up, my church organized an annual, or maybe, I don't know, at least once a year rummage sale.
It's big in the donation circuit type thing, right?
Yeah, you donate a bunch of crap all year, and then once a year they lay out all the crap and you can buy it, and it raises money for, I don't know, Jesus, something like that. whatever it is, I don't remember.
Well, so here's what I keep thinking. You are maybe my most organized friend, I'm going to say.
Thank you.
So I just think of you. In fact, actually, you really helped me this one time, and I got rid of so much because this line that stayed with me. I was talking about this halter top that I just can't get rid of. It was shiny. It was silver. It could only be worn to places like raves and Limelight. And I'm turning 50. Okay. At the time, this was like just a few years ago. So I was still in my 40s. And you were like, look, people hold on to things not because they think they're going to use it. You're not going to use it. They hold on to it because they're holding on to the person that they were when they were using it. See, even
I said that.
Yes. That's I was like, bing, my brain binked, and I got rid of that halter top. I got rid of like a garbage full of stuff because every time I looked at it, I knew I couldn't fit into it. It didn't look right. maybe I always kept it like, oh, what if it's some sort of Halloween something, or somebody might use it, or all of these excuses that everybody does. And you allowed me to let go of so much.
Yeah.
That
I mean, it's hard. I held on to a red miniskirt for way too long, thinking there's going to be another occasion. I mean, not only did I grow out of it, but I grew like emotionally out of like a red satin super micro mini skirt. Like it was like a belt that covered my butt a little. It's hard. Getting rid of clothing is hard because it's tied to like memories, you know?
Yeah. So as a person who, helped me get rid of the junk in my head and then the physical junk, what do you think of rummage sales, of taking other people's junk? So to speak?
I think in theory, it's a great idea. We can stop producing junk and just trade junk around at each other, right? Like, why don't we stop filling stores with new crap when we have existing crap that can be passed around?
Because right now, every time I walk outside, I see people in my outfits as a late teen and early 20s. And I wore those clothes to death, so I don't have those anymore. But I'm like, I had that outfit, I had that outfit, I had that outfit. And now I'm gonna have to, and if you buy new clothes during a new season of fashion, you will be buying that fashion. You might not buy the biggest flared bottoms, but the bottoms are going to be more flared more often because that's what's available in stores. But I when I say I wore it to death, like I only got rid of it when it had so many holes that you just can't anymore.
Yeah. I mean, did you do the thing where you cut them into jean shorts first?
I've done that. Yep.
I've done that where you're like they fit so perfectly. And the fact that they have holes in the knees and the heels, like if the heel drags,
it's manageable. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I could just make them into cutie shorts. So I did
my
that.
mom I used to drive my mom crazy with the the stuff on the bottom. It would reach so low that I would scuff it, and then it's just a trail behind me. And I would visit. I already moved out. She'd be like, take off your pants right now. I would stand there in my underwear as my mom fixed the bottoms.
Wow. She would hem them?
She was embarrassed by what I looked like. Yeah.
Wow.
She would get rid of all the frays and stuff. And I'm like, it took me so long to make those frays. Those frays mean I'm cool.
They mean that I wear them a lot.
Here?
I know.
Just standing in my underwear.
Terrible.
All vulnerable.
So I know. What, she can't give you a skirt to wear in the meantime?
I don't, it'll just take longer. Just do what you need to do.
Just do it. Yeah. I know. I have a small apartment and a small closet, so I have a lot less fewer clothing items, less clothing than like a lot of people I know, and it sucks. Like I would love to have a giant closet, but I would just fill it with stuff I didn't wear. Yeah. Like I'd rather have a closet with stuff I actually do wear than like fill a closet with like dresses that don't fit me that make me feel bad,
Yeah, I had skinny jeans for a long time. But then after my surgery, I fit into it. So what lesson did I learn? Then I wore those to death.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I try not to I don't really buy trends either. Like if I see a trend, I'm like, I don't know what that is. And like people say there's no trends anymore. I'm like, okay, so fat jeans are back, but they're not because someone else is like skinny jeans. And like it goes back. I can't keep track and I don't care.
I think that's what age does. It's like, is there a trend? Yes, sweetie pie. Yes. You're just not in trend age.
Right. It doesn't. Yeah. And like, I heard that I was wearing the wrong socks.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I'm fine being old. I'm fine being too old to know what socks are not cool.
I do remember being very upset that I couldn't wear the right socks in 8th grade.
See?
Because I was going to yeshiva, which is private school. I didn't realize how many rich people were in my school. Because to me, private school just meant a lot of Jewish stuff that I had to memorize, not the funding of such education. So they were wearing $9 socks.
Wow.
$12 if it was more than one color or something like that.
Wow.
They were called EGs. And my mother...
I have no idea what you're talking about.
They're like these fat, super fat.
What kind of socks are you wearing right now? Let me see.
Oh, I am wearing, I think I bought these off Amazon. Like I buy everything. I will take them off and show you. They're Argyle.
See, those are nice. Those are totally respectable.
Yeah.
See, I'm wearing a slipper sock. with
Oh,
the
those
little
are
treads.
cute.
I got the little treads over here.
Those are
So-
knitted. I can't wear knitted socks because my feet will just burn from heat. So
All right. Well, this has been a great podcast.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so
okay. This has been Sock Talk.
now
we should really start a sock podcast. Like, how many episodes could we possibly do on socks? You're like, oh
but
my
anyway,
God.
now Lorelai has so many clothes in her closet that were all at the cleaners in that other episode. That's fine. We're going to ignore that. Here's what I like that Rory said that reminds me of another way to look at it and help you get rid of things. She says, take out everything that you would be embarrassed to wear during a car accident.
Yes.
Take that with you. Are these nuggets of gold?
Yes. Yes. If you would be embarrassed to be found in it in a car accident, take it out of your closet. I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I also recommend, like, would you buy it again if you saw that in a store? Would you purchase this item?
That's a good one.
As it is right now.
Yeah.
You know, because if you wouldn't, you got to think, why wouldn't I? And you'd be like, well, because it's disgusting. And you're like, all right, well, there's your answer.
Yeah. So that was the cold open.
Yep.
And
then we find we quickly move to Sookie comes in and she says, I got the ticket. You're going to love me. And they say, we already love you.
Wait, they're organizing things. The whole rummage sale ready spot is in their house. So
which I think is
mess.
Bonkers. They couldn't find any other place. There's no church basement. There's no like back room of some, no Patty studio. It's got to be in their house.
Yeah. Everywhere.
That's crazy.
So small towns.
Everybody drop your stuff off at Lorelai's house.
Including, by the way, Luke, which was interesting that he participated, which we find out later why the writers had him participate. And Dosie's participation, I wanted to ask you about also. He kind of hinted at and then was allowed to write instructions for the things that he was dropping off. Yay or nay on that?
No, nay.
Nay?
I don't want instructions with plates. Are you crazy? No, I'm going to use the plate. What? If I see instructions with plates, I'm like, no, I'm not buying that.
And then Lorelai picks up the ugliest thing in all of the things that people are dropping off. She picks up the rhinestone jacket.
Yes. It's like a sweatshirt with rhinestones in it. And she's like, this is pretty cute, blah, blah, blah.
Just awful. And that's when Sookie comes in.
Yeah. And she says, I have Bangles tickets. And we find out that she did some favor. It's a wink and a nod again that Sookie is a sex worker. But she has, these are fan theories. That's a fan theory. Look it up. No shame. You got to make a living. But so she has Bangles tickets and the four of them are going to go. And I'm thinking, how is Lane going to go? Wasn't she not allowed past the sign?
Yeah. Well, that was her punishment for that week. But okay, this is exactly where I wrote that they ever thought that Lane can go.
Yeah.
What? Lane can't go to a concert.
Lane can't go to a concert. She only got the rights to leave the front of her. What are they thinking?
She got in trouble for going to a movie.
Mrs. Kim is still mad at them, though.
Right. And Mrs. Kim is not going to let her daughter leave the state. They were leaving Connecticut to go to New York City, where everyone's a heathen, to a concert where everyone's the devil.
Right.
That was never going to happen. And you can't lie because Lorelai already said,
I can't lie. It's in the code. Yep.
Right. So
they invite Lane and I'm like, that sounds crazy. But all right. Then how does that scene end? We
That's basically it. We'll talk to you guys later.
Then we end up at Chilton, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're at Chilton and the teacher's doing a little lecture and we see that Tristan is staring at Rory. Rory is staring at her notes, writing everything the teacher is saying, being a good girl. And the teacher goes, what is fascinating, Mr. Dugray? Is it more fascinating than staring at Miss Gilmore's ears? And I wrote a giant Y on my notes.
Y. Yes. I wrote, well, maybe I didn't write it down, but I think she could have said, pay attention, blah, 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 blah. Why did she have to call out what he was looking at? Why?
Why do you have to embarrass the person who's minding her own business,
yes,
who doesn't realize if you can't tell as a teacher is having a hard time with the literal girls around her, this guy has been calling her Mary, then you're really not paying attention. And as a teacher, I think that stuff has shifted where you're not embarrassing the person who is not the
Isn't
instigator
isn't doing anything. She's just sitting there. Like, why would she say that?
I don't
She
know.
didn't, because she told him to pay attention twice, and she didn't say it the first time. And I was like, okay, good. This teacher has a little, like, class. And then no, she's like, is it more interesting than Miss Gilmore's ear?
I don't see how.
Why?
Like, I understand that she was trying to embarrass him. I don't see how she thought it was okay to embarrass the good one by embarrassing the one who's not paying attention. That was really, really mean.
Bad form, teacher.
Yeah, and of course the mean girls get put with Rory for the debate together. Yes, of course it's
the this exact quad ends up on this debate together.
Now the only thing I could think of in this, and I forget the other two people's name, but it's Rory Gilmore and Paris Geller. So it wouldn't be completely crazy for them to be sitting close to each other.
Oh, right, because they're in the right.
Yeah, but so I don't know the other two. Obviously, like, that's for us, for them to have to get together.
I mean, I made friends with people because they were close to my name in the alphabet. It's true.
It's an easy way for people to see people. I totally get why they would do that.
Yes. Okay. That's a good point. Then they have one of the more infuriating scenes I've ever seen, which is they are trying to decide where to study. They can't go to Paris's house because it's being renovated.
It's being renovated because Paris's mom is trying to get rid of any sign of Paris's dad.
Right. So there's this, like, emotionally fraught, like, she's trying to, like, sanitize the house of my father. So, like, we can't go there.
The trauma of Paris. Oh,
I know.
My God.
Paris is going through it, man. Then I forget what the second excuse is.
So Madeline's was her brother has measles. And Louise, her mom is having an affair.
Okay, so why can't they go to Louise's?
Because she's probably fucking.
But they're not going to surprise her. Like,
I don't know. Why does she even know her mother's having an affair? I think.
Why does that mean they can't study in the house? I don't understand. They're not having an affair like you're going to know they're coming over. They're coming over Saturday.
Yeah, but it sounds okay. Now I'm just making excuses. We know why we know that.
I understand that we need to have this at Rory's house, but their excuses are so flimsy. And Rory should say, we can't do it at mine. My house is filled with crap because we're hosting a rummage sale. I would not have people over with my house filled to the brim with other people's stinky bedbug crap.
Me neither. And has no one heard of a library?
And then I started writing down a list. I was distracted. I missed the next scene because I was writing down 10 other places they could have met. They could have gone to Rory's grandmother's house.
Oh.
It's in the goddamn town. They don't even have to drive a half an hour.
I don't know why I didn't think of that.
They could meet at the cafeteria at school. Why don't they meet somewhere at school? Why don't they meet at a library?
The library I thought of. I thought that was the best one.
Why don't they meet at a coffee shop? They could literally meet in a car. Why does it have to be at Rory's house? I don't understand. I know why, plot-wise, we got to get there, but that was so maddening to me that I was like, these four very smart girls cannot come up with a better place to meet than we all got to drive a half an hour and meet at this house filled with shit.
Yes. Oh. Well, it's a half an hour by bus, but I don't do bus is what right. I think Louise said.
Louise and Madeline are the same person to me. There's blonde one and not blonde one.
I know. I'm trying to keep who's who, but it doesn't matter.
Because they're always in this scene together. I can't keep them straight. I'm sorry.
And now that I think about it, I think they always are. So it's like the side mean girls where Paris is the main mean girl. So,
right.
And then Tristan. Oh yeah. Tristan dripping with, I just really hate Tristan. And there are some people who like Tristan out there. He's misunderstood and all this stuff. He's so charming. He's so gorgeous. Hello, is he the person that you would want anybody you love to hook up with on any level?
No.
He's disrespectful. He's arrogant and he's got nothing backing it up except for he comes from whatever family.
The writers have not given Tristan any kind of depth. We don't find out that Tristan is like, his parents are going through a rough divorce. We don't find out that
well, until later in this episode, kind of, but he hits on Paris on purpose just to pretend like he's over Rory. And Paris, bless her heart, is eating it up because she so likes him. And I always feel for her when Tristan is around because she likes him so much and obviously for so long. And he's completely disinterested. And here he is with all his confidence messing with her mind.
Yeah.
And the side mean girls are like, ooh, that's good news. And I'm like, in what world is any of this good?
Yeah. And what is Tristan's game here? Like later in the episode, Paris is like, he's only hitting on me to get to you.
Yeah.
But like, how does that work? What is the logic in that?
Again, he has nothing going on. This is as logical as his little brain can come up with.
I don't understand. In his mind, he's like, I want Rory Gilmore, so I'm going to flirt with a girl who hates her. What? Okay. Good job.
Yeah. So then we go back to Mrs. Kim Antique. And here comes the Shakespeare again. Rory and Lane are coming up to the door, and Rory is quoting Shakespeare.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, just to say that, yeah, it seems really nice and quaint. They're coming over to my house. We're going to study, but something wicked this way comes, she says.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nerds. They're dorks. I thought it was insane that they asked Mrs. Kim based on the last episode. Like, we didn't have enough space between last episode and this one to forget that Lane is so grounded. What was she even doing at the Gilmores to begin with? At their house, even?
Time has passed, and she was punished to a point. But I think I can understand the logic that I have played around with that logic in my head when I'm trying to tell my parents a not so lie. So
right.
It's a lie, but not a lie. Saying it's a play because it's not really a lie, because a play is people on stage and it could be a musical.
What is a play? You get into it's like the definition of if, like, all right.
I didn't lie because they were putting on this act. But then, you have to believe your own lie. And Lane did not believe it when she asked Mrs. Kim, because she actually said, here's the quote. It's a play, right? It's a play. It's about a group of people who own instruments and stand in front of other people holding them. And there's a pause, and Mrs. Kim goes, what? And that was I was like, okay.
You would think that Lane would be better at lying to her mother by now, but she's just not. She's pants at it. It's terrible. I'm amazed they even asked, based on what we know. And Mrs. Kim is she's like, what's the play about? And they're like, we'll look into it. Is that how they get out of that? Like, they had no forethought to like.
And I get it. It's because, when I used to lie to my parents, oh, I'm so sorry, parents. Oh, goodness, what I lied about. When I used to lie to my parents, I would try to be as close to the truth as possible. And I would try to say as little as possible so that I'm not lying to the people who are nurturing and raising me.
Right.
But I remember lying one time. I said I was home so late. My parents were up. It was like 4 a.m. There was no cell phones. They couldn't get in touch with me. Of course, they always think I'm dead in the road or whatever. And I was like, we had a flat tire. And they're like, and you changed it? I was like, funnily enough, a cop came by and helped us. And they're like, so the car's on a donut? No,
we had them fix the same tire exactly. You dig deeper and deeper.
I think my parents were so sick of my lies by then that they were like, okay. And I walked away embarrassed that I got away with that.
Yeah. But in hindsight, you didn't get away with it. They just got tired.
Yeah.
They were just relieved that you were alive.
Yeah.
And then got tired of being like, all right.
And then we're like, you know what? If we acknowledge what she's saying, we might start thinking we might start going from disrespectful to she's stupid. Let's just keep thinking she's disrespectful.
Right. Exactly. Like, does she think she's getting away with this?
Yeah,
or like,
it was so awkward. We could have been on a sitcom. It was so bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's laughable. Like if you were writing a script, you were like, no kid would say that. Be like, aliens came down and they abducted. And like, all right, just go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time. Like, I don't want your lies. I just like, you messed up. I'm glad you're home. I'm still mad at you. Go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we cut to Luke's, or
then we're at Luke's.
Yes.
And Luke is wearing the Burberry plaid shirt. Did you notice that the kind of plaid Luke was wearing was Burberry?
The brand Burberry?
Yeah. I think that was the same plaid.
Interesting.
It's a very specific plaid. Somebody chime in on the comments and tell me I'm wrong.
Please.
But like,
I missed that. I don't really know what that plaid is. I know that
I only know that one plaid because that's the Burberry plaid. It's not my family plaid.
Do you have a family plaid? Oh my God.
No, I don't.
Okay.
So.
I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. I'm sure somewhere back far enough, I got Scottish.
Now that we're Gilmore friends,
yeah.
I am learning so much about you.
I bet if you went far enough back in my heritage, somebody had a plaid. No, you know what? We were probably peasants. I think plaid was only for like the like. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Wait until they see what we did with it here in the U.S. of A.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So we are at Luke's. He's wearing fun plaid again. It's its entire wardrobe.
And one quick note. I'm sorry. The study set, or did we go to the study session yet? No. Oh, shoot. Then no. Sorry. Then continue. Wow. Edit that out. That was awkward.
Yeah, don't put that out there. That's embarrassing.
Totally embarrassing.
Rory calls Luke out for the sign at the door because Luke has established himself as, I'm not a participator in any of these town things.
Don't advertise.
Don't put signs on. I don't put decoration for whatever season or whatever project is happening in the town. But here we are. Rory goes, do you need to call the cops because somebody put some signs out?
Somebody vandalized your shop. Yeah.
And of course, who is the only one who can convince Luke to do literally anything?
Yep.
It is Lorelai.
Lorelai said to, and your mom can be very difficult. The sign is hilarious too. It's like drop things off at Lorelai Gilmore's house. No address. No address. You assume everyone in the town knows where that is. It's amazing. I love it. There's 3 houses in the town.
Everyone knows the Gilmores.
Yeah, Gilmore is one of the 3 houses. It's fine.
And then Lorelai walks in. She's wearing an animal print cowboy hat. So take that, Beyonce. And
Ouch.
A rhinestone sweatshirt, that same one that was left, I think, by Luke, right?
Yep.
And Luke is like, what are you wearing? Which, when you first heard that question, as a person who's never seen that episode before, when he said, what are you wearing? Did you see that as regular? They just kind of, rip each other on things?
At first, when he first said, what are you wearing? I thought it was him saying that's a gross sweatshirt. But then when he got mad, I was like, oh, that's his ex's.
I know you said that right away.
He dropped off his ex's. Where did I write it down?
He actually said, take it off.
Yeah, he goes, take it off.
He was really mean, I thought.
He was a little gruff. He went back, he reverted to like old Luke.
Right. Yeah, he was just warm. He was participating. The sign is on the door. And now he went nuts. And of course, 25 years ago, that's how men showed any emotion. They got angry.
He didn't say that I dropped that off. It was an ex of mine and it makes me feel weird to see you wear it. He didn't just, this is one of those things where like he gets mad. That's so weird. And we spend the rest of the episode finding out why he's mad. So stupid. People don't communicate. This could be answered. This could be cured with one sentence.
Yeah, but that would be considered, according to the show and their kind of language, fruity.
Right. So no fruity. Instead, he just gets mad. He just starts punching punching cops. He like shoots a horse. It's like, what happens?
And then he spits on the ground. And
then he spits on the ground. He like kicks a kitten. He like turns a puppy inside out. He's like, take off the sweatshirt. And we're like, Luke, why are you freaking out? And he's just like
this is just
slamming
regular
pots and pans onto homeless people.
I'm having one of those periods.
Right. Emotions are hard. And we find out Wait, do we find out then?
No, then
Okay.
we just go to the next scene, back at the house for studying. Here's your part.
Okay.
Here's where they study. And I thought Rory had a really good attitude about the very mean girls that drive her crazy in school coming over to her private house while her house was upside down. I thought she had a really good attitude about it.
I thought that was insane. I'd be
Me
like,
too.
let's meet at Luke's.
Anywhere.
Why didn't they
Yeah.
go to her bedroom?
I think because it was full of stuff.
Oh my God.
I know.
Unacceptable. They could just stay out on the porch. I wrote this down. It was very exciting for me to notice. Paris is left-handed.
I didn't notice that. Okay.
So I noticed that. So now we have to keep whatever else happens in this series. We got to know that Paris is left-handed. If she bitch slaps someone with her right hand later, I'm gonna call plot hole.
Ooh, Carrie's got your back, everybody. She's gonna notice the notice.
That's right. Oh, and they make a pig's blood reference, or Rory makes a pig's blood reference, which is a reference to Carrie, Stephen King's Carrie, spelled the correct way. I always love when Carrie's mentioned in pop culture. It makes me feel special. It's my favorite.
Never saw that movie, but I totally know the reference. But I never saw it. Oh, now I have to see it, right? That's a face.
Yeah, and you have to do the original, the old one, the like 80s one, the Brian De Palma one, the bad one, the good one. Because it's so bad, it's good. It's so good.
I finally watched Heathers, and to be honest, I was like, well, I guess I don't need to watch Carrie.
You watched Heathers before you watched Carrie?
It was there.
I'm watching Gilmore Girls for you.
Okay.
The least you can do. So do you
First
get
of all, you're welcome, but
yeah,
okay.
I know. Do you get the pig's blood reference? Having never seen
yeah.
Okay, so you know that happens in the movie.
I actually saw the pig's blood. So I heard enough references, and then I saw the pig's blood coming down on Carrie, and I put it together with all the other references that you hear. And I'm like, okay, I get
it's
it.
In the zeitgeist. It's in the world. All right. Well, you didn't avoid spoilers like I did for Gilmore Girls.
For
the movie Carrie.
Yeah.
All right. So I wrote that with an exclamation mark, Carrie reference, pig's blood. Okay. Then Lorelai calls Rory into the kitchen and says, why don't we give you the tickets and you can take these 3 people?
Yes. Before that, though, they find out that Lane can't go, which sparks this. And they both call Lane stupid for telling her mom the truth, which I thought was really ridiculous, plot holey, upsetting, because Lorelai had a very decent rule of you don't lie to the mom. Don't get me involved with it. You have to go tell her mom that we are going to New York City, to this venue, to see the show. And they both go, she told Mrs. Kim, stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which side are you on, Lorelai?
Yeah, that was weird, but it was just in passing, so whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so Lorelai gives away the tickets.
What I love is that these are 3 teenagers who don't technically like Rory.
Yeah.
She says, "Do you guys have plans tonight? Why don't you cross state lines with an adult your parents have never met? You're 16. You don't need to check with your parents." They all agree immediately.
They have neglectful parents, so they know.
That's true. I know. Yeah. And I know we needed to get them at the concert, so it's fine. But I just thought that was like.
I thought that was okay because they really drove home that all 3 of these girls have such neglectful parents that they.
All right. Well, where are their nannies? Sense. Where are their paid nannies to take care of them?
Maybe they're off at night.
Yeah. What was your first concert?
Oh, my first concert was Run DMC and Beastie Boys at Madison Square Garden. I know, it's crazy.
That is a good answer.
It is.
That must have been an insane show. That's a good show. I also went to my first show with my big brother.
So I went with my big brother, I think my younger brother, I think a couple of our friend neighbors. My father took us, which was very rare for my father to be the one. But I think because it was in the big city and it's a concert, so it's a little grittier. It wasn't going to be my mom. I remember my dad taking us. Beastie Boys was on first. I knew all the words at the time. I was hanging out. I was like maybe 11, 12. It was definitely before high school.
Wow.
Yeah, which is why my father had to come with us. We were all kids.
He went to the concert. He didn't just drop you off?
No.
He was 11, in the room?
Yeah. So that's that's where everything went wrong. The Beastie Boys got off stage, and I don't know who it was, Run DMC or Beastie Boys, but in between, they decided to, and I'm using the correct word, erect a giant penis in the middle of Madison Square Garden, so freaking big that my father was like, we've had enough, and we had to leave before Run DMC went on.
That's the best, worst story I've ever heard in my life.
And none of us argued. We were like, oh my God, how are we gonna? Because we knew we were in trouble. We were all in trouble. Because I don't know if my father... You
didn't do anything. You didn't erect a giant penis.
Yeah, but... you couldn't really hear what the Beastie Boys were talking about, I guess. Don't forget, I have immigrant parents. I'm sure that, music is music. But they couldn't say... Maybe he couldn't, pick up on what the basis of some of the songs were, but he definitely understood the giant penis. And we were like, oh no, we're not going to be able to get away with, this is just a band. They mean nothing. They're harmless.
Right. The giant.
So we all knew, oh man.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We just went home.
So now every time you see a penis, do you think of the Beastie Boys?
No, just my dad.
Oh my God. Just your angry father.
Yeah.
This explains so much. Oh my God, that's the best, worst story. He should have dropped you off. Your brothers would take care of you. Your brother and his friends would take care of you.
No. The oldest person was maybe my brother, who was only a year and a half older. We're
all right,
13 years old. Yeah.
I mean, we were kind of going to concerts by ourselves
in Madison Square Garden.
Not Madison Square Garden. You're right. They were smaller venues.
I think they would have gotten arrested if we all showed up by ourselves. You can't.
I doubt it.
No,
New York
I doubt
City.
it too. Because in New York City at that time, we didn't need ID for anything. I was going into wherever I want. But I know it was before I was in high school. I think it was before my brother was in high school or he was a freshman. I think that's pretty young.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, I've never been to a concert with my mom.
What was your first concert?
My first concert was with my older brother, and we saw the Violent Femmes.
That's a cool one.
It was great. It was such a good show. And at the time, I only knew Blister in the Sun. I didn't know. I don't know. We didn't download music then. If you didn't have the CD, you didn't have it, right? And I only knew the one hit. And they played it, of course. And it blew my mind to be screaming it in a venue with everybody. Everybody's loud. And this was at a college. So everyone in the crowd is young and just really, it's super good energy, fun. It was a wild, wild, fun night. And then
your brother for taking you. Yeah.
I know. And I got up there by myself. And it was before, I was in high school. He was in college. It was his first year. So, but then the first show I went to with just my friends was Rollins band.
Who?
With Henry Rollins, Rollins band, and Primas opened for him.
What was Primas again?
With Les Claypool. It's like a bass. Now,
what was their main song?
I don't know. They do the theme to South Park.
Hey, that's a cool
That's
credit.
Their most recent hit, I guess. I don't know. But that was fun because that was when I got messed up in a mosh pit. That was my first. That was my first rough, learning.
Did you get hurt?
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
It was a real deal mosh pit. None of these shoving while dancing mosh pits at the Violent Femmes.
Did you get hit in the face?
Yeah, I got hit in the face. And people were crowd rising and I'd get kicked with boots. I'd be like, no. Yeah.
That's cool.
But concerts are fun. But I never went to a concert with a parent. I've been to see many shows with my mom, but never a rock concert.
But it did make sense that Rory goes with Lorelai.
Of course.
That's fine. It's the Bangles. You can go with anyone to the Bangles.
I know it's pretty safe. So why is Lorelai on ecstasy when she gets to the top? She's just laughing at how bad the seats are, which I thought was very funny. So that was something I would do, where you finally get to your seats and you're like, oh my God, this is the worst seat. This.
Yeah, I thought that was cute. I thought that was cute.
But it kind of went on a little bit.
Yeah.
And she's talking to the guy next to her and he's like not having it. It was kind of funny. That was very relatable to me. Where like I think I'm being hilarious, and the guy next to me is like, it's not. No.
Yeah, so they're at the concert, and I thought it was a bad idea. I understand. Okay, Lorelai said, "Hey, these girls, you're connecting with them. They're from your school. You're gonna have to deal with them." She knows they're the mean girls, so she says to Rory, "Hey, why not invite them?" I understand why Lorelai would know the value of befriending these people because you're in the school with them for a while and you have to make nice. But to take them to the concert, I thought, hey, all these people have done was make your daughter's life miserable. You're going to buy them out with a concert is very wishful thinking and positivity that comes from a little naive sense of something, right?
Yeah.
And so, okay, good, like have hope, help your daughter make friends and stuff, but maybe with something else.
It seemed a little bit contrived. It doesn't, like, organic friendship doesn't start with like your mom meddling.
Yeah, this is another thing. Like, remember when Lorelai invited Dean for the first date
for pizza? Yeah. Same thing. Just relax, Lorelai. Like, let Rory figure out how to make friends on her own. You don't have to buy them with concert tickets.
I agree.
And you're making it weird.
Yeah, by trying to be too cool, because you remember how easy it was to make friends when you're at a concert, when you're having pizza, when you're watching a movie, but your daughter is not the same as you.
Right.
Like, she's so different than you and you're not recognizing
She's
that.
more likely to make friends studying too. Like that,
Exactly.
Like sitting around a coffee table with your books out is how I made friends. Like, we'd come home, we'd go to somebody's house, we'd like get some cheese and crackers and all sit around a coffee table and like become friends. Like
and that is what was happening. Rory was becoming friends with them.
Yes.
By doing the thing that makes her the most comfortable. Why push it? Let it stay there. They had a nice time.
Yep. And there's all the crap around. They're making fun of Miss Patty's clothing, like, I think I mean, I'm really opposed to inviting people over when you have a bunch of crap, but it did work because it got the conversation going and they could like play dress up. I guess they're sort of playing dress up.
Yeah, they were tee-hee-heeing. That's so
bonding.
Fun.
That's bonding. And they're talking about boys and they're trying on clothes. I mean, now
fun.
We're friends.
Yeah, while studying. Amazing.
I know. That's how I did it.
Yeah. And then Lorelai pushes for more information. So they're at the nosebleed seats.
Yep.
Which means that they can have separate conversation than the girls. So I like that they did that. Lorelai and Sookie are so high up that we can hear them talk perfectly fine. And Lorelai pushes Sookie for more information about
Rachel. Luke's ex is named Rachel. I have a theory that the Friends universe and the Gilmore Girls universe is the same, and that Luke's ex is Rachel Green from Friends, or Jennifer Aniston. I think Luke's ex is Jennifer Aniston as Rachel from Friends.
Well, they did say they were at Waverly and First, and isn't that...
Waverly and First do not intersect, for those of you who are not from New York City. Waverly is in the West Village, and First Avenue is on the East Side. These are two random streets that they looked... I don't even know why they didn't pick...
But Friends did live in the West Village, and it did look like the area where Friends lived. So maybe you're right.
The establishing shot. Okay, so Pastorella Theater does not exist. That's a fake for the show. When I Googled it, because I was like, I don't think that's a theater. I Googled it.
How dare you?
What?
How dare you look up information? I can't believe it.
I looked it up. You know what it said? It was a picture of your face going like this. And then I clicked out. But it's not a real theater, guys. It came up that it was a made up name for the Gilmore Girls show.
That's why you shouldn't be Googling things.
But it made me feel better that I didn't forget the name of a giant theater on a fake intersection. When they show an establishing shot, it shows the name of the street that I grew up on. Boom. My house was on that street. I'm not going to name it. Got to look it up.
But it is hard to look up.
It is 2 blocks from the Friends set. that establishing shot of the Friends building too is also in the West Village. Anyway, there's a lovely moment during the concert where Paris and Rory share a smile. And I think it's the first time we've seen Paris like actually smile, where she's not smiling to be mean.
Yeah, it's these two academics who are now in the, let's call it a wild space, and they exhaled for a moment.
Yes,
and it was
exactly
nice.
That.
Yeah,
they shared a like, this is cool.
Yeah,
moment.
Because usually the B mean girls, the side mean girls,
the second tier mean girls,
they're always getting to bond with each other over cute boys, over like kind of being a little ditzy, over the overly sexualization of their whole being, and they usually leave Paris aside. And here's a person who can enjoy themselves and face forward and just have a nice time.
Yeah, they're more aligned, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really sweet. I really liked that moment.
I loved it too, yeah.
They look at each other. I wrote down Paris smiles, exclamation mark.
But then she kind of fixes it when she sees that Rory's noticing her having a little fun. She kind of straightens up again. But then she loosens up again because it's a concert. She forgot it. Yeah. So meanwhile, Lorelai's grilling Sookie for information about Rachel. And Sookie once again points it out. Hey, could you be into this guy? Could maybe you? I mean, I guess it was Lorelai's mom that initially says, hey, I think you're into Luke. Now Sookie's going, oh, you didn't think he'd be into somebody like Rachel? Did you think he'd be into somebody like, let's say, Lorelai? She's like, what do you, I mean, what? No.
No, I mean, no. It's not like that.
Yeah. And that's the concert, which was really fun. But during the concert, Louise and Madeline are talking to boys behind them the whole time. Yep. You know, all those boys at the Bangles concert.
At the Bangles concert.
Whatever.
The college boys that go to the Bangles concert in the year 2000. Totally.
Yeah. I mean, I assume
the straight boys, the straight white boys that go to the Bangles concert by themselves.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Those guys. Yep.
And then they make friends, and the boys invite Madeline and Louise and, you know, the Gilmore and Geller group to the party. Okay, so I think Rory stood up for herself really, really well. I would have a really hard time not doing the second fun thing that we can do. I think it makes sense that they would want to leave the concert and do something else. They're in the big city and they met cute boys. But she held her own.
Yep.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, you don't want to deviate from the plan. This is why we needed to invent cell phones. Because if you deviate from the plan, you don't get home. How did the girls who went to the boys' party expect to get home?
I don't think it's that crazy to know how to get home from New York to Connecticut. I think they're so rich they can take a cab. They're so neglected that they probably know their way around. That's not hard. They made it to the concert. I don't think Lorelai took them. So maybe they meet at the end of the concert for another pick. I don't know. I don't think that matters. I could get myself home.
And like, I can see that you could, that one might say, well, they're 16. They have no foresight. But like, I was the kind of 16-year-old who had foresight. Where I was like, yeah, if we go to a rave in the desert, where are we going to pee?
Yeah, and people would be like, the foresight, but I was like, that's not fun to think about. Let's keep going.
Yeah, see, I would have to know what the plan was to get home.
No,
you know, like
I was the idiot who then
find
had to
that
make
stressful
up a lie.
To I feel like I'd be worried about it the whole concert or something. Be like,
of course it's stressful, but some of us are idiots.
Like, I guess we're just sleeping here. I guess we just live with these boys now.
Yeah,
like start our new life in New York City.
Yep.
That's how New Yorkers get born. You just follow some boys at a concert.
Yeah, but I think Rory made sense. She's the girl said, "What are you afraid of?" And she said, "What am I afraid of? Strangers, a city I don't know, you know, all that stuff." And then Rory says, "What am I supposed to tell my mother?" Oh, this line. One of the mean girls says that you're a very good little girl.
Yeah, tell her that you're a very good little girl.
Oh, wow. Why does that hurt so much? I'm holding my stomach right now. Like I got punched. But I don't know, when your mom is chill, but you know the rules, I think you can stay steady in that moment a little bit more.
Right.
So Rory stayed, and I'm not gonna make the person who loves me worry. So good on you.
Right.
Yeah.
You mean, wait, do you mean for Rory to go get Lorelai in that moment?
No, for Rory to not leave and not
Oh, yeah. No, Rory's not going to leave.
and to
Rory's too
stand
smart.
up. Yeah.
That's a stupid thing. And like, she's also, yeah, she respects her mom to not go do a crazy thing.
Yeah, and then after when Paris and Rory are waiting for Lorelai and Sookie, they have a moment. And Rory says, "What could you possibly see in Tristan?" And here's where we see more of Paris's trauma. We've been in the same classes, she says, since kindergarten. He has things in his life that are hard. His parents, not so great. We have that in common.
Mm-hmm.
So you see whatever Paris is going through that constantly makes her spew out these awful pearl clutching situations about her life that just get overpassed. She understands that Tristan is going through the same thing and he's expressing it differently. She's overachieving and he's messing up.
Right.
But it's in response to the same pressure that she really sees that they have in common. And you kind of feel for Paris. Do you? I don't know.
I definitely feel for Paris. I think she's a wounded figure, you know?
She even says, "I know he's flirting with me to get to you, but at least he's flirting with me.
At least he's flirting with me." I was like, "Oh, girl.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to." And then I think, does Rory say you could do better? Or I think you could do better? Or
Yeah.
And I was, again, with Rory on that one. You could definitely do better.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? Of course you're going to defend this because it's your feelings, and it's this outside girl who is best friends with her mommy, and she takes her to concerts and they do everything together. And her mom, when we saw Paris's mom, she was mean to her. She was neglectful. She was worried about herself. Paris doesn't have this. So when Rory comes in like, "Oh, you could do better," that's painful and hurtful and dismissive of the feeling that she obviously has, you know? And then of course Rory's right and she could do better and Tristan is a jerk, but you know, that's what little kids do. We minimize it like, "Oh, you could do better."
Right. But
okay.
She wasn't ready to hear that at that moment.
Yeah.
You know, like she didn't want to hear that. But like, what did she want to hear? She's like, why do you like Tristan?
Well, she's not the one who brought it up, so it's not what she wants to hear. But
then she says the classic line that I hate that will sound familiar is like, "You don't know him like I know him."
Of course.
And that's like, it's such a red flag. Where like everyone is telling you that your dude is bad. And you're like, "You don't know him like I know him," and you're defending someone else.
That is the response that trauma builds.
Yes.
Anybody who says something like that, there's sympathy for them because it's coming from somewhere. This is a guy who I can relate to. There was a TED Talk that I saw that says, you know, when your kid starts going with the quote wrong crowd, you should understand that there's no wrong crowd. And instead of wondering why they're going with the wrong crowd, you should be asking yourself why they feel so comfortable in that setting. So
that's a good
yeah, because they're not going there for no reason. You know, when you're the good girl with the bad crowd, their outside might be matching your insides.
Right.
And you can't really go hard on that with your kid because they're expressing it in a way that is not settling and it's not. So that's that with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
that's why you go for the dangerous guy too. It's like, you know,
his outside matches your inside. You are burning inside and you're not allowed to do the bad thing, but if you're around it, it feels kind of good.
Yeah. It's kind of exciting.
It's by osmosis. You get to like party without doing any damage. That's what I did. I'm like, "Oh, I don't smoke, I don't drink, but I'm in spaces where I'm putting myself in danger because that feels good." Why does that feel good?
Being just outside the excitement is like the best.
And then you can still say you're a good girl.
Yeah, and you can still say you're exciting.
Yes.
You can have it both ways.
Yeah, but nope. You're accumulating trauma.
You're just a dork.
And then t-shirts for everybody, which, you know, the finances of TV
Gilmore
shows.
household. Yes. The finances of the Gilmore household are insane.
Cannot.
Except for that first episode where we had to borrow 50 grand. We have tons of money. We have takeout. We have Pop-Tarts.
We never cook. Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy 4 t-shirts at the venue. Are you insane? Okay. All right. Then we see Lorelai. Then they go storm off. I think that building was the same set as the Friends hallway. Did you not see it?
I didn't see it, but once you said that, I said, "Oh yeah, I could see that being the hallway of Friends."
I think it looked like the Friends hallway with the checkered floor.
That's funny.
I think it was the same set. I don't know.
You might be right, but I think it's funny that in New York City, you can give Rory and Paris and anybody the directions of it's around the corner, the building on Waverly
the building on
First,
Waverly and First.
And you walk into the building and this is the building. But we're going to let that slide.
We're letting that slide that they end up on the right floor.
Well, no, they're going floor to floor. I believe that.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Then the building on Waverly and First, they end up in the right building on the right floor. They find the dudes. Lorelai snaps into Mama Bear.
I loved it.
I know. I
love the phrasing of everything. First of all, that Paris shows more trauma, saying, "Hey, she's going to knock on everyone's door," and just being floored that a mother would care so deeply that she would inconvenience herself by looking for the kids. Holy Paris! Oh, girl! Oh my goodness! Yeah. And then Paris was even wondering if her mom would look for her. Maybe she would send people to look for her. She would send
someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, her mom came to like parent teacher watch your kids in school. Oh, and I forgot to mention. Sorry, we got to go back.
Oh.
Maybe we can edit this in the right place.
Sure,
I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know how it all works. But didn't the girls from school know who Lorelai was because they saw her, because Paris saw her making out with Max?
No, because they didn't see that. Paris
saw it.
She saw it, but she was making out with a dude is all she saw of Lorelai. So I think
she saw that Lorelai and Max were making out.
Yeah, but she didn't get introduced to Lorelai. They never met.
I know, but she didn't acknowledge that she knew who she was when they were in her house. She'd be like, "You're the slut who made out with the teacher."
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, that never comes up. I'm just saying that like the other two mean girls would have been like, "Is that the mom who was banging Mr. Max?"
Yeah. Instead, they were like, "Is that the mom who got pregnant who had a baby when she was 16?"
Right.
So it was still on the, "Ooh, your mother's different and your mother
right." But they didn't put it together that like the scandal that happened at the school. Remember, it was such a scandal.
But they made peace. Paris and Rory made peace at the end of that episode. Rory told Paris, "Hey, didn't you have it bad when everyone was talking about you?" And Paris said, "Yeah, I wanted it off me." And then Rory said, "Can you stop?" And they said maybe they'll call each other. It was a kind of truce at the end of that. I
guess so. It was sort of an eye-rolling truce.
And also with everything in high school, the next trauma made it to the next headline, and then you just kind of keep going.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that they didn't acknowledge that they knew that Max and Lorelai had schnooked.
Yeah.
They schnacked.
Yeah, they could say like, "Hey, is your mom still seeing that Max?" But I mean, Mr. Medina, excuse me.
Right.
But
so all right, back in.
Oh, so Lorelai the guy was like, "Hey, excuse me," because she said move out of the way, and Lorelai says, "See those two idiots? They're 16."
Nice job. Nice job, Mrs. Gilmore.
And then I thought Lorelai reaming into them was just enough. It was, "Hey, you can't go around with people you don't know, drinking drinks that you don't know what's inside of them, and not with my kid. Go ahead and do that, and we're going to have a talk with your parents." I thought on the level of like embarrassing that your mom is doing that, Lorelai nailed like a nice, good.
Yeah.
Fair.
Laid down like what they did wrong, why it bothered her, and like what the possible repercussions could be. Yeah.
And then the warmth that comes out of Paris's face when she said, "I think this is the best night I've ever had," is the saddest, most
That is
sweet.
the saddest. This is the best night I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to throw up.
I wanted to hug her.
I know. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Yes, this was the Paris trauma episode. Just the way that she says things just breaks your heart because it's so much of the truth.
I know.
Meanwhile, she's so mean. So I don't know why I'm warm.
She's mean because people are mean to her, and it's all she's ever known.
I know.
Nobody gives her a hug. The best night of my life.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Best night of my life is tonight, recording with you. No, this is not.
I love when you lie to me.
I mean, this is not a bad night. Don't get me wrong.
It's a pretty good night. I look forward to
would it shock you? Yes, it would shock you if I was like, "This is the best night of my life."
Yeah. It shouldn't be the best night of your life. When this episode comes out, it's the best night. Anyway, okay. So the search party ends.
Then we get to the rummage sale. We are finally here. A town's worth of crap is laid out on a town's worth of folding tables. It's happening. All of the crap is out. It gives me such agita, like so much dust and like, oh, it's gross. But Lorelai finds Luke.
Wait, before that, she says,
"Oh,
I thought inviting those girls out would make things easier." Again, just showing a little naive. And then that Paris was going to split the debate time, and it's like spitting in your hand and shaking it to Paris.
That's right.
That was really cute.
That's her olive branch, as it were.
Yeah. More
if you split debate time, you are basically besties.
Yeah. And then Lorelai finds Luke. I just thought that was important.
That is sweet. Yeah. Yeah. See? Thawing out. Then Lorelai finds Luke and does a very bizarre thing, in my opinion, very strange. She gives the sweatshirt back.
I didn't think that was strange. Go on.
Luke got rid of it. Luke did not. No, he did not. Luke did not get rid of it if he sees Lorelai with it and yells at her. That's not getting rid of it. What? What does that even mean?
You can't have a trauma response to something that you gave to a rummage sale. You're obviously not over it. Here it is back.
But he doesn't want it back. He went through the mental emotional.
He gave it to his town. A townsperson is going to wear it and come into his thing, and he's going to just go around yelling at people. When you give it up, you have to give it up.
Right, but then you don't want it to return to you.
Oh, well, shouldn't have yelled at someone.
I mean, he could have burned it. Like, he thought he was rid of it when he donated it to the town.
Burn it, Luke. I'm giving it to you so that you can finish this response and that we're not going to sell it to someone else that you're going to actually punch in the face because you're having an emotion.
I think it's very bad. Like, don't give him back the garbage that he already said goodbye to it. If he didn't see her wearing it, and he didn't yell at her to take it off?
If things didn't happen with clothes that are supposed to happen, he would have acted like a regular person who's processed his emotions.
I'm saying that he already did the exercise of saying goodbye to that sweatshirt. He already did the hard part.
And it didn't work.
Well, it came back into his life because Lorelai was wearing it.
What did you think was going to happen?
Someone was going to buy it and it would sit in there.
Out then.
But then that's wasteful.
No, it's not. It's obviously what you need to do when if you cannot get rid of both the emotion and the thing, you can't throw your emotion at the thing when you see it again. If you don't want to see it again,
I think it's not that he saw it again. It's that he saw it on her.
If you have no control over it. You are letting go of control.
But if he saw it on some random woman in the little supermarket, he wouldn't have had that response.
I don't know what kind of reasoning this is.
I think it was because it was on her and he likes her.
I don't care.
So he's like, why does the girl I like wearing my ex's crap?
What am I supposed to do with the sweatshirt as Lorelai now?
Donate it in New York City. Leave it on a New York City subway.
Oh, I'm supposed to get rid of your trauma because you're a baby.
No. Well, first of all, keep it in your closet for a second. Could we just in a second?
No, I don't want this anymore. That's a horrible response. I don't want the responsibility.
I'm not giving it back to the person that had that response. He went through the trouble to get rid of it. You're giving him back his garbage.
He went through trouble. Get out of here. I'd love to hear whose side everybody's on.
So every time you donate something, to the Goodwill or to the Salvation Army, you secretly want it back?
No, but I don't see it on anyone and have a reaction at all because
What
I know
about the
I
guy
gave it
that
up.
you're secretly in love with? What about the guy you're secretly in love with?
I better get my emotions in check before I go off the handle.
I still don't think you want that item back. I don't think that's the answer.
Well, it doesn't matter what you want at this point because you don't know how to behave.
You don't have any photos of that guy, of your ex? You don't have any photos. You don't have any love letters. You don't have any cards. You don't have any other better memories than the sweatshirt that you already went through the trouble to get rid of?
I don't know because your trauma is showing.
Oh my God.
You couldn't just talk to me about it. You have to yell at me and then I'm supposed to hold on to this for you?
I didn't say that she should hold on. She should still get rid of it.
But she doesn't know it's because she's wearing it. He just had that reaction to the actual sweatshirt. I don't know.
Right. So then why doesn't she just throw it out?
No.
I think giving it back to him was cruel.
I think him accepting it is him saying, I'm not pining, remembering is not pining. I think absolutely it is pining when it's an article of clothing. That woman didn't die. She left you.
So then
no, you shouldn't have that anymore. Unless she died. If she died, have an article, have a thing. I totally get it. There's something about that. You're never going to see that person again. They left this earth while you were still together. That's a very, very difficult thing to do. And that's a different kind of letting go. But if you're still pining for this person, know that, heal it, do whatever you need to do with it. Do not go around yelling, thinking that you got rid of this trauma point and now everyone else has to deal with the emotional baggage. Yeah, but your trauma's not
healed by having the item back. I mean,
then
what?
Deal with it.
Right.
How else did you manage this pain, Luke?
Well, he started wearing hats backwards. And he started making hot plate coffee. I don't know. We need to move on. Agree to disagree. I think her giving back the sweatshirt is not a good move. I thought that was mean.
I understand that. I just think taking it is even a worse mood. And if he didn't throw that out, I don't think he should date anyone.
Well, obviously he shouldn't date anyone. Nobody should date anyone ever. People are the worst. All right. Do you have trivia for me? Was it about Waverly and First?
I do have trivia. It's not about Waverly and First, so I'm really happy that I was like, okay, I don't have that. That's cool.
Good.
Here's trivia from season 1, episode 13, Concert Interruptus. The air date was February 22nd, 2001. Okay. And my first question is, who is the actor who played one of the guys that Madeline and Louise met and left the concert with? So he's actually a guy that is well known now. I'm going to give you a hint. He became well known playing a superhero in a movie in 2006.
Oh, no. I don't really watch a lot of superhero movies.
And I had to look it up because I don't know anybody.
Was it Chris Pine or somebody?
No.
Was it one of the Chris's?
No.
All right. Who was it?
It was Brandon Routh. Do you know this guy?
I don't know that guy.
He played Superman in 2006, Superman Returns.
I didn't see it.
But it's like a big deal.
All right. That's really cool, though. And he got his start. This was his...
This was before that. Here's a fun fact. He did a tiny role in a Christina Aguilera video. He was just one of the background guys in What a Girl Wants in 1999. So that's kind of, it's one of his first roles. He wasn't talking. He wasn't interacting. He wasn't the main guy. He was just one of the guys hanging out. So nice. And then he broke out 2006. Okay.
I love it.
Second question. After the Bangles concert, Lorelai, Sookie, Paris, and Rory are banging on everyone's door in the building to find Louise and Madeline. One of the neighbors opened the door and said, I don't talk to anybody. People annoy me.
Yes.
Name that actor.
I don't know. She was my favorite extra of the whole series so far. Who was it?
See, I didn't know this person's name either. I happened to not watch the show that she had 32 episodes in, Mike and Molly. She played Rosetta, the grandma McMillan.
I didn't watch Mike and Molly.
Me neither, but she has one of these kinds of roles that she had in Gilmore Girls. She has them on so many shows that we've watched. Grey's Anatomy, New Girl, Family Guy, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Her list of credits just says like one episode, and then 32 episodes from Mike and Molly.
I love it. She's just like the sassy extra. Where she gets like
until she gets the actual part. Oh, and her name is Cleo King.
Cleo King. I love it, Miss Cleo. I like it.
Good reference.
I don't know a lot of human. I had a cat named Cleo. I don't know a lot of humans named Cleo except for Miss Cleo.
And for the next couple of tidbits of trivia, I got from Valerie Campbell, who was the show's key set costumer on Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
Okay, so this is like behind the scenes shit. So for the episode Concert Interruptus, the Bangles were performing at, and you brought this up, Pastorelli Theater. I forget how. Pastorelli.
Pastorella.
Pastorelli. The venue is made up, like you noticed. Where was the concert actually shot?
Oh. And you said they shot the show in LA?
The actual show, yeah. It was in the Warner Brothers lot.
Yeah, okay. So then the theater shot was in Mann's Chinese Theater.
No, actually, the show used a mix of places, the Wilshire Theater and the Stephen Ross Theater. So they used the outside of the one, the inside of another one, and they even finished a couple scenes back at the Warner Brothers lot because the shooting that day took so long. They had to redo some of the shots. And so here's the thing. Here's what you could notice. Some of the shots of Rory and Paris in the theater, when you see the wide shot, it's different kinds of seats than when you go into the close-up, because in the close-up, they're back at the theater. And then what I also noticed from knowing that is the people behind them in the concert are not the same people either when they're sitting from when they're standing.
Oh, wow.
So I guess they couldn't get the same extras or something. I just thought that was fun.
That is fun.
Yes. That's so interesting that you could shoot something. Do
you know how they got the Bangles? Or like...
Yes, I do actually. So the reason they got the Bangles is just because Amy Sherman-Palladino really was a fan.
Wow.
And so there's not a lot of information out there. I looked into, how exactly the lead Bangles, I'm forgetting Suzanne.
Yeah.
So I read an interview by her, and she said that right before she was asked, her friend happened to go, "Hey, do you know Gilmore Girls? It's a really good show." So that was the first she's heard of Gilmore Girls. Very shortly after, I don't know if it was a few days or something like that, she got a call from her manager or something. Amy asked the Bangles to be in the show purely because she just really likes the Bangles. And they just said yes. It wasn't such a big story. It was hey, I like this show and
you want to be on TV and
yeah. So it wasn't the band pursuing some sort of we're going on the road and we need extra promo time. It was just everybody likes each other and we're doing this.
And not like we owe a favor, like we're doing community service because
it's not an ad. Yeah, it's nothing like that. I thought that was so sweet.
That's awesome.
Which is why I think we got so much of the Bangles in this episode.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it wasn't a very long episode. It was one of the shorter episodes, right? It was like
maybe 40, because half of it was the Bangles concert.
42 minutes. I know. But like, you know how like in Baywatch, they had like slow motion shots of people running because they needed filler.
Show, but yes.
I never saw it either, but they needed fill. Like that's why that show is known for that, was because like they only wrote like 35 minutes worth of content and they had to fill out 42 minutes. So they would just slow down pictures of people running. Like David Hasselhoff said that. Like that's known.
Oh,
that's a known thing.
Thought they slowed it down because it's
sexier.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an added benefit that they had not planned. They were just like slowing down some of the action shots.
Ridiculous.
And they picked out, the sexy ladies in the bikinis, but like that was filler. And I thought like now when I think of things like that, when you're like watching a show and like one scene takes too long, you're like, why are they doing this? And you think, oh, because the editor is horny, like
right.
And so like watching this episode, I was like, oh, the editor likes the Bangles,
yeah.
I was like, that was my
turns
thought.
out it's the actual creator of the show.
It's the entire show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got chills when they started playing Eternal Flame.
I know. I really like that song. And I forget that I like that song. So yeah, I got to put that in my rotation. If you haven't heard of the bands that we said in this show, I think they're worth a listen. Okay, so before we get to the final question, I think we should take the time. Let's thank all of our supporters. You guys, thank you so much. Every week we get new listeners, new comments, Gilmore friends sharing the show, and it means a lot to us. And we want to take this moment to send a special thank you to a new Gilmore friend, TJ. Hi, TJ.
Hi, TJ.
Thank you, TJ, for joining our Patreon. We hope you're enjoying the perks. TJ is getting the episodes in advance and with bonus content before and after the show because we leave the mics on, and discounts on merch. Anyway, we're really, really grateful. Thank you, TJ. Thank you for everybody who's supporting us in general.
We really appreciate it. I like interacting with people who write in on YouTube. I find I find that a lot of fun.
Totally. And you, yeah.
What?
Just pointing out your theories and stuff. I love it.
My theories are on point.
Yes, they are. Yes.
Luke's ex is Rachel Green from Fringe.
That's my
Paris's
favorite
last
theory.
name is Geller, and Monica's last name is Geller. They're in the same universe, I'm telling you. One's in Connecticut, one's in New York City. Prove me wrong, children.
Okay.
That's my prediction. That there's a weird crossover show in season 3. I think Sookie will turn out to be a sex worker.
Wait, I have more question before your
I'm sorry. I thought you were wrapped up.
No.
I'm sorry.
Today we have an extra question because there was just so much stuff that I wanted to share.
Oh
about
my God,
this
you
episode.
went crazy. You went completely bonkers.
Did the Bangles play live for this Gilmore Girl episode?
I am going to say no.
Okay. Because usually people lip sync and stuff. So that would be.
I would say usually people lip sync and stuff.
Because it's harder to. The Bangles played live. They did not lip sync, not for the entire episode. They had to sing the song several times to get all the camera angles. And it's been reported that they never complained. Also, the Gilmore Girls crew did watch the Bangles perform while they were doing it over and over again, but it was separate from the rest of the shoot. So when you're watching the girls do the dialogue, they're not watching the show. The Bangles have long gone.
We never see them in the same shot.
Exactly. Yeah. But because they weren't watching and listening to the actual Bangles, the actors, Lorelai, Sookie, all of them, to make sure that the actors move to the correct rhythm, they have something called a thump track. And it's just like a boom, boom, boom.
They couldn't just play the song?
No, I guess not.
That's weird.
Yeah, because it might be distracting. So,
okay.
Yeah, they have that playing.
So they had to move to a thump track?
Yeah.
That sounds horrible. It's like an MRI machine or something.
But you know what? Acting in general sounds horrible. You memorize all these lines. You do it over and over again.
Gotta feel silly. I mean, you really just gotta feel silly like most of the time.
Exactly. Which is why when people really hit it, it's like, wow, you have no shame. Because in order to get that right, you had to try it so many goofy times. So good on you. Cheers to you. Thank you for being goofy for us. Actors are the best.
We always appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And now your predictions, please.
I mean, I accidentally threw them in. We're all out of order. We're all cockeye cuckoo this episode. I threw them in before I realized that there was one more question.
Well, I shouldn't be so anal. I do like your Sookie. Wait, repeat it again because I love your predictions. They're my favorite.
It's the Friends and Gilmore Girls are in the same universe.
Right. Okay.
Because the last name matches up. Rachel, how many Rachels could there be in the world? And
Sookie's a sex worker.
And Sookie's a sex worker.
She had like 2001's OF account that we don't know about, that we'll find out about later. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. It's the back page of the Village Voice.
Well, I hope you all are watching along with us episode per episode. We're going to be back with another one. That was episode 13. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the show. We're at GilmoreFriends.com.
See you next time.
High five. We did
High five.
it.